GM tells dealers it can't build all its 2025 ZR1 orders and to resubmit for the 2026 model year. Now, guys, I'm going to bring up old stuff with GM on this to just bring everybody up to date. We know that in February of this year that GM said, okay, you're allowed to order the car. And then by March, we had cars in 3,000 status. And all of a sudden they were kicking them back to a different status because everybody, like 80% of the orders were coming in as ZTK high wing, or just regular high wing, non-ZTK. But they all wanted the coupe. They all wanted the high wing. And so buyers were already furious at that point.
Wins the gold jacket.
Because there were a lot of people that gave up their first allocation because they were told we can't get ZTKs, and then they were told later on, now we can give you ZTK packages, or high wings, I should say. And so there was a bunch of people that had the number one allocation at their dealership, gave it up, and then the next person in line took it, thinking they were getting a low profile spoiler ZR1 and ended up being able to get a high wing ZR1. So it was a big deal. Then GM seemed to get things under control. They found somehow some high wings, and they said, all right, now we've got enough high wings. We're going to be able to build amount that was ordered on that first allocation cycle. And we've added up how many we're going to be able to do total for ZR1s for 2025. And it's only going to be like 302. And then I heard 310. This number was right or wrong, but it was right around that 300 number. Well, now we have a different thing from GM. And now they're saying not only are we low on parts again, but because of July, our folks at the plant getting 2 weeks off, when they come back from that 2-week hiatus, that they're only going to have 15 days to build cars, and they've only built 65 so far, ZR1s. And so if we go off of Roger Keel's on Facebook, his piece of information that he puts out very frequently where he shows the status of builds from the plant, they're estimating about 100 ZR1s are going to be built, and that's it for 2025. Now, I'm going to let you guys read the rest of this article. It's linked in the description below. We're going to go back to our main camera because we're going to get into what even gets worse than what we just talked about, is the fact that now the owners are not only mad and pissed off at what happened before, but now you've got all those guys that got treated that way back in March and April are now being told that they're going to have to buy a 26 instead of a 25. And it looks like they're all going to have to pay the higher prices for the 26.
You know what I'm going to do about this? What I'm going to do is bend over and take it up the tailpipe.
Now, I'm sure there's going to be some of those people that are like, you know what? I don't care. I really wanted the new 2026 interior anyway. I wanted all the new stuff. I wanted the new brakes. The 2025 ZR1 had 6 piston calipers in the front, and now it's going to come with 10 piston calipers in the front. But you're going to pay a lot more for those brakes, even though you're not really buying the brakes. If you order that ZTK package, it used to be $1,500. Now it's $4,395. So there's a giant difference in that all by itself, let alone the $7,200 that the ZR1 went up from 25 to 26. So quite a big deal there.
Yeah, it's surprising they didn't do that grandfathering of those people, the prices.
So I think the reason why everybody was grandfathered with the 21 to 22 is because they made an early change on that pricing in 2021 before the 2022 came out. So if you already had a 3,000 status 2022, which I know you were one of them that did that.
Yep.
Mark, I think, was
Same
one
deal.
of them that had that. And then remember what the dealer did? Instead of just giving you the car for that price, they had to charge you the new price
Get a check,
and then give you a rebate.
Yeah.
So that was something that was able to be done back then that does not look like it will be able to be done with the ZR1. And I mean, I don't think GM's going to do that. They may, but I don't think they're going to.
No, because unfortunately there's 10 guys behind every guy that has an order in that will be like,
yeah, I don't care. Give it to me.
yeah.
I'll pay the extra. So I think GM should have listened to a few people when they said, make sure that the ZR1 comes out perfectly and there's no issues and make it a 2026 instead of a 25. I think that's the only way they should have gone because now they've embarrassed themselves. Are they going to suffer for that? Probably not in the short term. In the long term, I think it has consequences.
I will note, though, I mean, to be fair, looking at this in historical hindsight, there is the glass half full, glass half empty thing. This sucks no matter what. And, you know, I think there needs to be some consequences for those that let this kind of thing happen, if possible, assuming it was something in control. If there is, they're really going to need to look hard at that to get this situation correct. Obviously, there may be some things well out of their control. But other brands have been through this, too, in the past. I mean, let's not forget, just a few years ago, McLaren was having cars catch on fire sitting in parking lots.
Everybody remain calm! I am a fire marshal!
It could be worse, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but for them to stumble and fall as many times as they've had with the C8 period, and then to bring out the king of the hill, the best of the C8 variants, and stumble and fall, stumble and fall, stumble and fall.
Which raises a question. There's definitely, for the engineers and the marketing, you got this level, and then something's going on here in between before it gets to the plant. We talked about this briefly a couple lives ago. I mean, I raised the question, is it a supply issue thing? Is it a supplier issue? I mean, have they gone too dedicated to imported parts? I mean, did COVID really knock out all their suppliers and they're still struggling to find new contracts? Is it a union thing? Is it a political thing? Who knows? I mean, we obviously don't see this whole picture here. I'm sure the powers that be and GM do know the picture and they know what's going on.
Can't you understand it? What the hell is wrong with you people?
And maybe heads are rolling because of this and they're just trying to get it right. I don't know. Or they're just rolling with it. I mean, obviously, they got a lot on their plate right now. They just had that massive recall on the 6.2s for the trucks. That's not doing GM any favors, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Regardless, though, I feel like they rushed it, and there's a lot of people out there. They work for Chevrolet, not GM, but Chevrolet, and they agree. They think that this was rushed. They also think the ZR1X was rushed. I won't get into that, but I just think that they could have done things better, and they didn't. So we'll just see what happens from here. Hopefully 2026 is better, and they're able to deliver a lot of ZR1s in 2026. But as of right now, I think they're only building like 2 or 3 a day, so they're not doing very many. So we'll just see what happens. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up button, please do on your way out. Also smash the subscribe button. I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful rest of your day.
And happy Independence Day, everybody.
Yeah,
Definitely.
We're having the 4th of
bless
July
the
here,
USA.
and happy Independence Day. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you on the next